Start recording. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome, welcome to the Rise Up Rooted Global Wellness Symposium. This is the first ever Rise Up Rooted Global Wellness Symposium. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for registering. I hope this will not be the last. My plan is to continue to assemble speakers for you in this sphere of nature connection and bring them to you periodically. So thank you so much for being a part of the very first one. So I am your host for the event. And just so you know, I'm an author of a little book called The Mindful Walker. I'm also a natural mindfulness guide. I am a medical writer. I publish a magazine for doctors. I do a whole lot of different things. And I'm also just a regular person. This whole going live and hosting a big event thing is new for me. So I hope that you will be patient with me. And as we go about the week, if there are any technical glitches, just shoot me an email and let me know. And I'll try to get those sorted for you. But yeah, so I live in the woods in North Carolina. I have a couple of dogs, which sometimes bark when I try to do live things. So that is a part of the new reality, folks. And if you hear that, please forgive that. So I want to give you just a little bit of background on how the symposium came to be, what rising up rooted means to me, and what I hope it could mean for you, and also what to expect from the week. So I'm not going to take a lot of your time today, because one thing that was important to me as I put together this event is that it would be really accessible for people who are busy. My work is all around helping people walk mindfully in the outdoors. That's primarily my focus, but it's all about doing it in really short bursts of time. I'm busy. Most of the people I know are busy. We have a lot going on in our lives. And so I created the symposium to have little bites of wisdom for you, small packets of information from brilliant people from all over the world that you can hopefully consume in pretty small amounts of time. They're not a huge number of speakers. They're not a huge number of speakers being released on any one day. So my goal for you is that you're going to be able to consume, especially just consuming the ones that really call to you, and listen to them and be fed by them, no matter how busy you are or what you've got going on this week. And on that note, thanks again for taking the time out of your week and taking the initiative to sign up for this symposium. Kudos to you. And I am so glad that you're here as well. I have been talking about and teaching mindful walking for a number of years now. And about a year and a half ago, I decided to pretty much get completely off of social media. It felt bad to me, and it was dragging me down and not feeling good. And so I stopped posting on Facebook, kind of pulled off of most things. I still have a YouTube channel, but I stopped using any social to speak of. And while that feels great, and I know a lot of people are doing that now, and it can feel good, and it can be a good move for some folks, it left kind of a hole in my world, in my business, as to how I'm going to reach people, right? And how I'm going to talk to you guys, and how I'm going to connect with folks around the world and bring this understanding and bring natural mindfulness and the ability to connect to nature, and the inspiration to connect to nature to more people if I'm not on Facebook, right? So I came upon this model of creating a symposium, inviting cool people from all over the place, and inviting them to share it out with their audiences. And so a lot of you who are here today are quite possibly here because somebody that you like and follow and trust invited you to come and be a part of this symposium. And if you enjoy it, be sure to thank them for that. But this was my answer to not using social media. It was my way of still bringing folks in, still bringing information to people, and sharing out with the whole world, actually. And we have speakers on this symposium from 5 different countries, men, women, um, older people, younger people, folks from everywhere in so many different disciplines. And so it's working. It's working. And we've got a ton of you guys from all over the planet here in the symposium as well. So this is why I decided to create it. Now, a couple of people have asked me what this rise up rooted thing is, where that term came from. There are some books with similar names. Sharon Blackie wrote a book called If Women Rose Rooted. There's another book called Rise, Sister, Rise. There are, things that sort of dance around this phrase, but the phrase itself, not something that I made up. It comes directly from a poem by a favorite poet of mine called Rainer Maria Rilke. He wrote around the turn of the last century. He was an Austrian poet and a mystical poet, and largely a nature poet. And he wrote beautiful words about connecting with nature. But a favorite line from one of my favorite Rainer Maria Rilke poems is, "If we surrendered to Earth's intelligence, we could rise up rooted like trees." And that's the first part of that. And it goes on to say, "Instead, we entangle ourselves in knots of our own making and struggle lonely and confused. So like children, we begin again to fall, patiently to trust our heaviness. Even a bird has to do that before he can fly." Now that's Rainer Maria Rilke from Rilke's Book of Hours, Love Poems to God. So I borrowed that idea of rising uprooted, really like trees, from Rilke. And so this symposium is really about breaking and untangling those knots of our own making, if you will, and beginning to trust nature's intelligence again. If you are human, and if you're here on this Zoom call, you're probably human, you've got an innate connection to the natural world. We are nature. And you're going to hear that reflected again and again throughout the week from different speakers from a lot of different disciplines. They all come back to this. They all come back to this. The fact that we are nature. And as such, when we connect to nature again, in whatever way that looks like for you, and again, throughout this week, you're going to hear people talk about a lot of different and varied ways to feel more connected to the natural world. It is not just about forest bathing. It is not just about having a mountaintop experience or going out to the beach or having a weekend retreat away or going hiking. All of these things are beautiful and can be very inspirational and helpful and nurturing, but they are not the only way to connect to the natural world. When we are disconnected, we feel it. We feel it. And I believe that the planet feels it as well. And some of the things that we're seeing in terms of human diseases and problems, as well as planetary diseases and problems, stem from this disconnection. From a human standpoint, greater incidence of diabetes, of heart disease, of depression, of difficulty sleeping, of cancer even, can be in many ways traced back to our disconnection from the things that keep us healthy mentally and physically in the natural world. And on a global scale, things like fires and floods and natural disasters and a lot of the disturbances that are happening on the earth right now have to do with really ways in which we haven't really treated our home with the love and respect that it deserves and needs. And that again comes from, just being disconnected from it. So back to this idea of rising uprooted. Well, the rise part is kind of obvious. What does it mean when we rise? To me, this is about fulfilling our purpose, whatever that purpose is for you on the planet, rising into your greatest purpose and your ability to give your own personal gifts to the planet while you're here. To rise can mean to hold on to our convictions, right? Like you rise up in support of something or against something. To rise up means to embrace your power. And whatever you choose to do with that power, my friend, is yours, is your business. But you have the ability to connect to this power. And so the rise part of Rising Up Rooted this week is about helping you connect on a personal level with the power that comes from reconnecting with the natural world. And then the rooted part, when we talk about being rooted, I feel like rooting, to me, it's kind of like grounding as well. Rooting is about trusting in something that's deeper than ourselves, right? Because when we think about tree roots, so the roots of a tree, they're not just there for support, right? They do hold the tree in place and they're supportive of the tree, but the roots do so much more. The roots nurture the tree. The roots feed the tree. The roots provide water to the tree. The roots, as we're currently finding out, also connect the tree with other trees and other plants in the forest. There's a network of things that are happening underground through the roots. So it's about all of that. So being rooted, and as it pertains to this symposium, is not just about support, but it's actually about being nourished and being fed and being watered, if you will, and being connected. Okay. So that's the rise and that's the rooted. Okay. So what we're about here is not just giving you information. Okay. It's all of these things. And I think that you'll see when you look at the list of speakers and you look at the list of topics, you're going to see how there's so many different ways that this symposium can nourish you, can support you, can feed you, and can connect you to deeper things as well. Now, what to expect this week? Just a couple of logistic things. You guys, this is not a perfect symposium. I have done my very best to give you a beautiful gift here, but please understand, some days my hair looks better than other days. Sometimes the audio drops out for a little bit. It always comes back. I've done my best to edit out sections where there was a little dropout, but I live in the woods. My internet connection is not perfect. Maybe you've seen some of that while you've been on this call. I'm sorry. Sometimes my dogs bark. It happens. Okay. I am doing my best to kind of to try to bring something beautiful into the world, but just know it's not perfect. Now, as I said, this is created for busy people. There are only 4 to 5 interviews released each day. Every day, if you're registered for the symposium, you are going to get an email from me. So watch for it in your inbox. If you didn't see it this morning, go back and look for it. Maybe it got stuck in spam or promotions. But you want to make sure you have that email because that is going to give you direct links to everybody who's speaking that day. And then, you just click on those links. It takes you directly to the page and their interview will be live. Now, it's important to remember that these interviews, each day's set of interviews will be available for 48 hours to watch. So sometime within that 48 hours, try to carve out time to watch the ones that you're most excited about. And again, none of them are longer than about 45 minutes. So listen while you're taking a walk, all right? Or while you're doing laundry, or while you're driving, while you're on your commute. They are small enough, I think, that most of us should be able to fit them in the cracks of our day. That was kind of my intention for you. Again, these are folks from all over the world, men and women, different perspectives. You'll get an email every day. I do not expect you necessarily, and don't even necessarily recommend that you watch every single one of them this week. If you have the all access pass, you've got them forever, so you can watch them whenever you want. But even if you don't, I want you to really kind of look at the roster, look at the schedule page, and see the things that that really resonate for you, and get excited about those and connect with those. Because I think I'm just dropping that schedule page in here in the chat, you guys. So everybody's just got it at their fingertips. And this shows you who's speaking on what day. So in the morning, when you get the email, open it up, or wherever you are in the world, it could be later in the day, but just open it up. Take a look down at the topics, at the speakers. If you want, you can click and it'll go to their page and it will show you their bio. And then you can decide, is this a topic that resonates for me? Is this a topic I'm excited about? Is this a topic I want to learn about? And then, you've got 48 hours then to watch that interview, and that link will remain live and the interview will be available live. The other thing is, if there's a speaker that you're really excited about and you really like their talk, do please sign up for their free gift. Every single one of these speakers has something cool to give you. And, don't grab it if it's not something you're excited about. But if you resonate with the speaker, if you like their topic, if you want to learn more, these gifts are there to kind of help you go deeper and also to allow you to connect with that speaker too. So grab those things. Some of them are there are some ebooks, there are PDFs, there are audio trainings, there are video trainings, there are discount coupons, lots of different interesting things. So be sure to take a look at those things again. And if you listen to a speaker, you listen to somebody today, for instance, Valencia Porter, Dr. Porter is speaking today on Ayurveda. This was a completely new topic to me. I learned so much from her. If you listen to a speaker and you liked what they had to say, you've got 48 hours. I'd suggest you go back and listen again. Just put it on, even if you put it on in the background while you're making dinner or something, go back and listen again, because I intend to listen again, because especially if the topic is new, you're going to be served by hearing that information again. And I want to, and you hear different things, when you listen to something a second time around. So I would recommend that you do that. Okay, so does anybody have any questions for me about how the week's going to go, about the symposium, about any of the speakers that you've seen? I can tell you these folks were so fun to talk to. I only invited people that I really, really liked, that I liked their stuff. And I'm telling you, just for you, I went and stalked these people online. Not really, but you know what I mean. I went to their websites and I went to their social and I went to information about them and I Googled them so that I could find people that I really felt were going to align with this idea of helping us all to rise up rooted, and that were going to be fun to talk to, frankly, and fun to listen to. So there was not a dud in the entire batch. There was nobody that I got off the interview and felt like, oh, that could have been better. They were all so interesting, so delightful. There are funny people in here, and there are serious academic type people in here, and there are philosophers in here, and there are comedians in here. Every kind of person is in here, and they are all delightful. I feel like, honestly, putting together this symposium has felt to me like putting together a party and then inviting everybody to come and be in the party. That's what it feels like to me, because I invited this interesting cast of characters, and now I've just opened the doors and let everybody kind of come in. And I want to introduce you to everybody. I want to say, here is Dr. Seidelman, and here is my friend Lisa Esterbrook, and here is Dr. John LaPuma, and here is CJ Howley, and here is Ben Page, and here's my friend Laura, and so many people. That's Laura Wilson, by the way. So many interesting people. I feel like I wish that I could take every one of you out there on the symposium, and also every one of you who's there listening to this webinar, and just take you by the hand and take you over in the party. And I'm just between you and me, I am personally a bit of an introvert. So when it comes to parties, I'm usually the person who's kind of hanging back a little bit against the wall, just kind of observing the room and stuff. But I'm so excited about these people that if we were at a party, I would overcome that, and I would take you by the hand and I would drag you over to every one of these folks and say, meet my new friend and come and talk to this person. They're so interesting. They have so much to teach us. So That is the spirit in which I'm bringing you this symposium, and I hope you will approach it that way. And these are interviews, not presentations. So I actually am asking them questions with a view toward, yes, it's a nature connection party. Thank you for that, Michael. Yes, that was my intent, and that really is what it feels like. So I hope you will enjoy my introductions to you of all these people. Oh, bless you. Thank you, Ian. Thank you for being here. Ian Banyard is one of the speakers on this symposium. And I think, are you on day 3? I think he's on day 3. So be sure to catch him. He is one of my mentors and one of my absolute favorite people. So be sure to catch him. And thank you, Ian, for being here today. Now, before I go, one last thing I want to bring you. And again, thank you for hanging with me for this time. Um, one of my dearest and best mentors, oh gosh, these are ugly glasses. Sorry, you guys. These are the reflecting kind. Oh, I have better ones. Just a minute. Sorry. Okay, there. See, they're not quite as bad. Clea Dannon. I don't know. Let's see. Can we see this? No, it is too bright. Ah, there we go. Okay. This book has meant so much to me. And I want to share it with you. And I want to share just a little passage from it because Clea Dannon, who wrote this book, and also another award-winning book called Sacred Land. Clea was a gardener and a beautiful, humble person, a nature intuitive, a wonderful author. She passed away in 2020 at the age of 44. And I frankly was personally devastated by the loss because she's brilliant and she writes so beautifully and eloquently and simply about the importance of our connection as humans to the natural world. So I just, before we go, I want to share just a little bit from her book. Again, this is Voices of the Earth. If you can see it, I'm sorry it's so bright. Voices of the Earth by Clea Dannon. She says, our bodies and souls love the natural world, and only very recently have our minds disconnected from the natural currents of life on our planet. In our highly technological, capitalistic culture, we've largely lost touch with changing seasons, the sources of our food, and the living land. This disconnect is an illness. While there is nothing inherently wrong with money and technology, when we divorce our conscious awareness from our roots, we become zombies. Instead of being controlled by an evil sorcerer, we're driven by our inner demons of greed, fear, and narcissism. Your ability to communicate with nature will have far-reaching consequences as you learn to love more deeply. When you open yourself to the wisdom of nature, you will find healing and renewal in the midst of a crazy world. Through deep listening, you will find your own soul. You will also discover tools to face the overwhelming reality of living in a sensitive body in the midst of wars, corporate greed, fear, loneliness, and all the challenges of humankind. And just one more short passage here. Do you feel disconnected from other people, from your life path? Do you have trouble loving yourself? Do you suffer from anxiety, depression, and daily worry? Learning to expand your awareness to the spiritual aspects of nature and the universe will help you find wholeness and healing. You'll be able to find your path, your life's work. You will know a deep love from the universe and the planet, and you'll be able to take that love in, then share it with others. You will have tools to live more powerfully in a time of fear and chaos. All of these gifts can come from having a deep, intuitive relationship with nature and spirit. And so, on that note, I would like to wrap this up. I do want to, yes, right. And Patricia asks, yes, Sharon Blackie wrote If Women Rose Rooted. I did mention it at the beginning of the symposium as one of the books that also makes reference to this Rainer Maria Rilke poem. And I quoted the poem in the beginning, but I will close with that poem as well. So the poem says, if we surrendered to Earth's intelligence, we could rise up rooted like trees. Instead, we entangle ourselves in knots of our own making and struggle, lonely and confused. So like children, we begin again to fall, patiently to trust our heaviness. Even a bird has to do that before he can fly. So although Sharon is not connected to the symposium, maybe she'll hear about it. Maybe she would like to be a speaker at a future symposium, because I'm a big fan of Sharon Blackie as well. But that poem is a Rainer Maria Rilke poem, and the Rise Uprooted quote comes directly from that. So, oh my gosh, namaste from Nepal. Thank you so much for being here. Laurie, thank you for that. Looking forward to this week. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, unless anybody has any other questions for me, that's it from me. I will be live with a little wrap up at the end of the week. But until then, everything's recorded for you. Everything is waiting for you. You'll get an email every day, and all the links will be there for you. And hopefully everything will work. Technology will work perfectly, and you'll really be blessed by all these fabulous speakers. I'm sure that you will. And I don't see any other questions. So thank you again, everybody, for being here. Have a wonderful week. Bless you all. Namaste. See you later. Bye.